Harry. How are you, mate?
Good. Thank you, Barnaby. How are you?
Yeah, just a relief to be able to talk to you after a better performance. Let me know your thoughts on it. What did you think?
I'm delighted, to be honest. I mean, I am also relieved, like you. I did have a horrible feeling it was going to be a repeat of Bournemouth and we were going to lose 1-0. But I thought, I saw Spence, I saw BERGVALL, I saw players that don't usually get starts, and I thought they're going to be more up for it than if Porro started. Spence wants to prove himself to get more game time. BERGVALL knows that he's grown in confidence, and I'm really impressed with BERGVALL lately. So I'm really impressed with the result. I mean, I would have liked a few more goals in the second half, but the previous people that have been on here are right. I'd rather us relax a bit more than risk any injuries and see out a 5-0 win, which is perfect. Couldn't be asked for any more. Yeah,
completely agree. For me, I mean, I guess we've talked about Spence. I want to talk more about him, but let's talk about James Maddison, who was given player of the match. And, he's one of the many players who've been copping a bit of flack from those Spurs fans who are looking for scapegoats at the moment. But it was good for me to see him really trying to take the game by the scruff of the neck and get into that kind of quarterback role and lead the team from there. What did you think?
Certainly, yeah. I mean, I think Maddison's a player that can be hot and cold. 1 week, like we saw at the Etihad, he was unbelievable, involved in everything, scoring 2 goals. And the same tonight. I mean, he I don't know if he picks and chooses, but, nights he'll turn up and he'll steal the show. He'll be the main man. And I believe, surely he got man of the match tonight, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Yeah. And that speaks for itself. He was brilliant. I mean, the second finish, unbelievable. I mean, he completely sat the defender down, and then it was a really tight angle, fired into the top corner. But yeah, no, it was a good cameo for Maddison. But not only Maddison, the whole team. Like we saw Son, as you mentioned earlier, the first time passing, and we see what happens when we pass first time. Well, when we pass first time, that's the main thing that it's so frustrating. We take 3 or 4 touches instead of taking 1, 2 maximum, and we see what happens. For the Kulusevski goal, Son put in a first time cross, they couldn't deal with it, and we scored another one. So the first time passing is a massive thing for us.
Are you confident that these players are all behind the manager at the moment? Because some people I've been speaking to think that some of them are and some of them aren't, and that maybe some of the players might have been a bit pissed off with the way that Big Ange treated Werner, for instance. But for me, I've never seen anything that's wavered, certainly on the pitch, in terms of their support for the manager. And then the second thing is that all the leaks coming out of the club are that there is support for the manager, whereas usually when the rats are deserting the sinking ship at Spurs, it comes out the usual old, they're being trained too hard and all that stuff. But there's none of that, seemingly.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think a few days ago, Dragusin came out and he said that he's really enjoying his new defensive role, because obviously at Genoa it was a bit different. It was a lot more calm and relaxed, but obviously with us we are one touch, like playing out the back, risky stuff. And he said that he's enjoying his football. Romero, I think, in that the bit where he came out and slated the board and slated Levy, he did include in there that again, he likes the football and that he trusts. I think he said that the players trust Ange as well, so it's a collective thing. But no, I think the players 100% back Ange. We saw after the Rangers game, people were rumouring that Son was ignoring him, but actually no, he was talking to Dragusin instead. I mean, you saw Son's relief when he scored that second goal. I think someone was almost kind of trying to tell the Spurs fans that we are on the right track and this is how much it means to us. So I think if the manager was, if there were rumours that Ange was falling out with the players, there wouldn't have been that sort of pure relief and almost frustration in a good way when Son scored that goal, because it was just brilliant.
Yeah, I completely agree. And now looking ahead to the Carabao Cup game against Manchester United in the week, how many of those players that started today? So, for instance, I'm thinking about BERGVALL and I guess Spence. I mean, I guess the Spence one's interesting because it's likely that Udogie, if he really felt something, won't play. But do you think BERGVALL will start, or do you think he'll bring Basuma straight back in?
It's difficult. Obviously, United are, as we saw today, they've got it in them that they can snatch a win. They can play almost pretty much like Conte style for the majority of the game. But when they want to, they can completely transform and score a couple of goals. So I think he will bring Basuma back in for a bit of stability, because obviously United are more of a threat than Southampton, obviously, and Rangers. So I think we'll have Sarr, Basuma, Maddison as our midfield 3, but we could see BERGVALL being introduced a bit later on if we need any creativity. But I think if we want to boost BERGVALL's confidence, I would start him against United, because starting for the first half, if he hasn't impressed, then we can always bring on Basuma to offer a bit more stability for the second half. And then I think, Udogie went off. He was kind of shaking his head when he went off, but apparently wasn't it just a small back injury? I think I read Opta Sports.
I hope so, but I saw him pointing to his thigh.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that, but hopefully not. But I think, we've seen tonight that Spence can cover. He can come on, but he can play brilliantly on the right and the left. I think earlier in the season as well, when we beat United 3-0 at Old Trafford, Spence came on at half time and he was solid at left back on his weakened position.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's naturally a right back, but yeah, he's brilliant at left back. And then we've got Porro for the right, or Porro and Spence can swap around as well if they feel need be. So I think we'll be all right in that respect. And then Gray, I mean, he's brilliant. He's only 18, but he can play anywhere. And he's so composed, like you said earlier. So I think it'll be a similar starting 11 on Thursday.
Yeah, and exciting as well. Even though he had that misplaced pass when he came on, I thought Alfie Dorrington looked another calm kind of player who looked comfortable on the ball. There were a couple of occasions I was very impressed with him because he played kind of slightly more dangerous balls when he could have just done it easy. And I think that bodes well, especially he's more like built like a centre half. So that's another exciting option for further down the line.
100%, yeah. I mean, that's exactly what I thought. I mean, I think he was in the corner at one point, and he played like a calm ball back to Forster. He didn't kick it out or rush himself. Like he knew exactly what he wanted to do. And then the risky. I mean, it's weird, but he looks like he knows exactly what the game plan is when he comes on. Playing those risky balls out. That's what Ange wants. So if he can follow Ange's simple instructions, then I'm sure he's going to start to get more minutes on this side. And I did feel a bit. I say a bit of shame for him. I did a bit in terms of I thought he could have had a start today because obviously he is a natural centre half, whereas Gray it was obviously a midfielder. So I thought it's a bit unfair that he can't be given a start from right from the beginning. But he came on and showed that later on down the line he can if we need be. But yeah, I think we'll definitely see more minutes of Dorrington. I mean, I don't think we'll see him start against United obviously on Thursday. But again, towards the end, if we're winning comfortably, then we can definitely bring him on and trust him that he can see out the win. Hopefully.
Yeah, and. Because 2024 is coming to an end, your favourite and worst moments watching Spurs this year?
I think my worst would unfortunately be that spell towards the end of last year where we lost to Newcastle, Liverpool, Arsenal and Chelsea in a row. That was awful because it was obviously 4 hard. We took it to heart, those 4 defeats. They were hard to accept, especially in the Arsenal game. We were 3-0 down and we came back to 3-2 and we all believed Chelsea. It was awful, as it always is at Stamford Bridge. Newcastle again was poor, and Liverpool we left it too late. To go 4 goals down, get 2. We started to believe again, but unfortunately it was too little, too late. So that would be my worst. And then I think the best would be our performances away in Manchester this season. The clean sheets at United and City, 7 goals scored in 2 games in Manchester against City and United. So, yeah, those performances were probably our 2 best of the season. And it shows, again, to all the people that are a bit sceptical over Ange, that when we play our football, we are hard to stop. And we've seen it tonight. It was pressing. It was one-touch football. I mean, and the point I want to make tonight to all the people that are, again, sceptical over Ange's future, you're 5-0 on a clean sheet without Vicario, Romero, Van der Ven, Richarlison, Audebert, the list goes on.
Bentancur,
Bissouma. Yeah. So I still back Ange, and I said it last time when I came on. I'm going to say it again. Ange is the man for this job.
Yeah, I agree. Harry, let the audience know where they can see your stuff, mate.
Over on Spurs Direct on Instagram. We posting videos up there, content, all that sort of stuff over on the Instagram Spurs Direct. A follow would be greatly appreciated.
Top man, Harry, and I'll speak to you hopefully after another win during the week against Man United. Have a great night.
Certainly. Thank you very much.
Top man.